Hey guys, good morning. If you're about to apply for your first mortgage and you're not exactly sure what happens next, don't worry. You're not alone. Everyone talks about rates, but no one really talks about the process. What actually happens after you apply? What are the lenders looking for? And how do you avoid getting stuck, getting delayed, or getting declined? That's what I'm going to break down here today, simple, step by step. First thing you need to know is your pre-approval is not the same as a final approval. It's more of a green light to start shopping, not a guarantee that the lender will fund the deal. When you are pre-approved, the lender will look at some of the information, usually your income, your credit, and your debts, but it's not yet a full deep dive. They haven't seen the actual paperwork and they haven't seen the property. So yes, even if you are pre-approved, you can still be declined. And that's why what you do after getting a pre-approval matters just as much. I learned this the hard way. When I tried buying my first place, I thought I had it all figured out. Turns out I didn't even know what I didn't know. The deal fell apart, I lost money, and I realized how easy it is to miss something small that ends up costing you big. This part can trip up a lot of people too. But if you're thinking about switching jobs, opening up a new credit card, or financing something, try to hold off until everything's finalized. Lenders notice this stuff, and it can throw a wrench in at the worst time. It's one of those no one tells you until it's too late kind of things. Also, how long does your pre-approval last? Usually it's 90 to 120 days. Some come with a rate hold, some don't. Depends on your lender. And just because you are pre-approved for a certain amount today, that doesn't mean it'll stay that way. If your income changes, if your credit changes, or if rates change, that number can go up or down. So it's best not to treat it like a blank check. Once you are under contract and ready to move forward, that's when the lender goes a little deeper. They'll want to see details on your income, things like pay stubs, job letters, tax returns. Also your credit. Not just your score, but your credit history. They'll take a look at your down payment. They'll want to know where it's coming from. Is it from savings? Is it a gift from your family or something else? And the place that you're buying. It has to check a few boxes off for the lender too. The lender wants to make sure that it's a solid property that they are comfortable lending on. If your down payment is a gift from your parents, they'll need a letter or a gift letter. If you are self-employed, they'll want at least 2 years of tax returns. And if the property is a bit outside of the norm, they may ask for an appraisal or some extra details. And even if you are pre-approved, things can still go sideways. Not every lender is okay with every type of property. So that's something to check early on. The last thing you want to be is blindsided. Deals can slow down. They can fall apart because of missing information, missing documents, unverifiable income, or last-minute changes. That's why being organized early on makes such a big difference. Some common things that can stall this process for you are, you said you made $80,000, but the paperwork says $62,000. Or you didn't mention that personal loan that you co-signed for. Or your down payment is coming from crypto and there's no paper trail. I'm not saying that any of these are wrong. It just needs to be explained and documented properly. When it's not, things start to get messy, things start to get delayed. This can catch people off guard, but the lender might approve you and decline the property. Could be due to zoning issues, maybe a weird layout, poor condition, or something like knob and tube wiring. If they don't like the property, they're not going to lend money on it, even if you are fully qualified. Another one is closing costs. You will have legal fees and you will have property transfer tax, but you might also have an appraisal, title insurance, or prepaid property taxes, and all of these can add up. A good rule of thumb is to budget roughly 2% of the purchase price for your closing costs. And finally, timelines. People weirdly assume that they'll get approved in 24 hours, but depending on the lender, your income type, and how fast your documents come in, it can take anywhere between 2 to 7 business days. It's not instant. It's definitely not fully automated. there are real people reviewing your file behind closed doors. Here's what you can do though to keep things smooth and stress-free. First, don't make big financial moves mid-process. Hold off on switching jobs, financing a car, or racking up some new credit card debt until after your deal closes. Even these small changes can raise red flags. That's really where your mortgage broker should step in and help you. If you're not sure about something, it's best to ask first. That's a big part of why I do what I do now. I've been on the other side of this transaction thinking that I was doing everything right and still getting blindsided. My job now is to help people avoid those landmines. Secondly, try to get your documents ready early. Your T4, your pay stubs, notice of assessment, bank statements. Even if the lender doesn't need them right away, you'll want them on hand. Getting your stuff lined up early can save you from last-minute panic that slows everything down. And third, just be honest. If you're unsure about something, it's always best to speak up. It's way easier to handle something up front than fix it late. No question is a dumb question. Finally, here's how the mortgage process actually works start to finish. Step 1, you work with a mortgage broker. This is someone who will help you figure out how much you can afford and explain how this whole process is going to work for you. Some people, they go right to the bank. That's not always the best move, and I'm definitely not biased. But really, banks only offer you their own products, and you're often dealing with someone who picks up the phone that day. Whereas with a mortgage broker, you're going to build a relationship with. They can help you shop around and find a better fit, put together a better plan for your specific situation, especially if your situation isn't super straightforward. Step 2, we go over your income, we take a look at your debts, your credit score, and your down payment. You might actually look at a few different price points to see what your monthly cost would be. And if something's not quite ready, like your credit or your savings, this is where a plan on how to move forward gets made. Step 3, you get pre-approved. Once everything looks good, your mortgage broker is going to send your information to a lender and get you a pre-approval with a rate hold. This is your green light to seriously start house hunting. Step 4, you work with a realtor. You find a home and you get an offer accepted. This is the exciting part. You're out there with your realtor looking at homes that actually fit your budget. Once you find the right place, you write an offer. Hopefully it gets accepted. And that's when the mortgage work really begins. Step 5, your application is going to go to the lender. Now, this is where they'll review everything, all the documents, your credit, and whether the property itself checks out. And step 6, you work to meet any and all conditions. These could be your documents, the appraisal, or confirming your down payment. And step 7, you get something what's called final approval, also known as mortgage commitment. This is the lender's official yes. And the last step, you'll meet with your lawyer, you'll sign everything, you'll pay for your closing costs, and you'll get handed the keys. That right there is the full process. And whether it's your first time or not, knowing what's coming can make a big difference. Because getting your first mortgage doesn't have to be stressful, but it's not as simple as go get a great approval and go. The more you actually understand about what happens behind the scenes, the better you'll be prepared for and the smoother the whole process will go. So if you guys are thinking about buying and you want someone to walk you through this whole process step by step, you can book a call with me, shoot me a message, or drop a comment below. My links are in the bio. Thanks so much for listening.